January 20th, 2017. Washington, D.C. was buzzing, the city was alive with anticipation and energy. People from all over the country had gathered to witness a historic moment. The National Mall was filled with a sea of people, all eager to see the new president take the oath of office. The air was thick with excitement and a sense of history in the making. Donald J. Trump was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States. The ceremony was steeped in tradition, with Chief Justice John Roberts administering the oath. As Trump placed his hand on the Bible, the crowd erupted in applause. It was a moment that marked the beginning of a new chapter in American history. It was a day of pomp and ceremony. The presidential motorcade made its way through the streets of Washington, D.C., flanked by a military band playing patriotic tunes. The parade that followed was a spectacle of American pride with floats, marching bands, and representatives from all branches of the military. It was a celebration of democracy and the peaceful transfer of power. The world watched as a new era began. News outlets from around the globe covered the event, broadcasting it to millions of viewers. People gathered in living rooms, cafes, and public squares to watch the inauguration. The international community was keenly interested in what this new administration would mean for global politics and relations. There was excitement in the air, but also uncertainty. Trump's campaign was unconventional. His rhetoric had been polarizing, and his policies promised significant changes. Supporters were hopeful that he would bring about the change they desired, while protesters voiced their concerns and fears. The crowd was a mix of emotions, reflecting the divided state of the nation. His policies were a break from the past. Throughout his campaign, Trump had promised to shake up the status quo. He spoke of putting America first, renegotiating trade deals, and taking a hard stance on immigration. Political analysts debated the potential impacts of his proposed policies, and the public was eager to see how these promises would translate into action. People were curious to see what his presidency would hold. Discussions about Trump's potential impact were happening everywhere, from dinner tables to newsrooms. Focus groups and polls showed a nation divided, with strong opinions on both sides. Some saw him as a much-needed disruptor, while others feared the consequences of his unorthodox approach. The inauguration was a symbol of this new chapter. The Capitol building stood as a backdrop to the ceremony, adorned with American flags. The crowd, a tapestry of diverse faces, represented the melting pot that is America. The event was not just about one man taking office, but about the democratic process and the resilience of the American spirit. The ceremony was a chance for Trump to lay out his vision for America. In his inaugural speech, he spoke of unity and strength. He promised to return power to the people and to make America great again. His words were met with both cheers and skepticism, as the nation listened intently to the new leader's vision for the future. It was also an opportunity to signal his approach to foreign leaders. Trump's inauguration was closely watched by international leaders, who were eager to understand his foreign policy stance. Diplomatic meetings and discussions were already underway as the world braced for the changes that this new administration might bring. The inauguration was not just an American event, but a global one, with far-reaching implications. U.S. presidential inaugurations are steeped in tradition. These ceremonies are not just about the swearing in of a new leader, they are a celebration of democracy and the peaceful transfer of power. The grandeur and solemnity of the event reflect the importance of the occasion. They follow a specific protocol. This protocol has been developed and refined over centuries, ensuring that each inauguration is conducted with the utmost respect and decorum. From the moment the outgoing president leaves the White House to the final notes of the inaugural ball, every detail is meticulously planned. This protocol dictates everything from the swearing-in ceremony to the inaugural balls. The swearing-in itself is a momentous occasion, with the incoming president taking the oath of office, often on a historic Bible. The inaugural balls, on the other hand, are a time for celebration, where the new president and first lady dance and mingle with guests. The guest list for the inauguration is carefully curated. Invitations are extended to a select group of individuals who represent the diverse fabric of the nation. This includes political leaders, military officials, and notable citizens who have made significant contributions to society. It typically includes former presidents, members of Congress, and foreign dignitaries. The presence of former presidents symbolizes continuity and respect for the office, while members of Congress represent the legislative branch of government. Foreign dignitaries, though not always present, signify international respect and diplomacy. However, there is no expectation for foreign leaders to attend. Their absence does not imply a lack of respect or interest, rather it underscores the domestic focus of the event. The inauguration is a moment for the American people to come together and witness the beginning of a new chapter in their nation's history. Inaugurations are primarily domestic affairs. They are a time for Americans to reflect on their shared values and the principles that underpin their democracy. The ceremony is imbued with patriotic symbolism, from the display of the American flag to the playing of the national anthem. They are about the peaceful transfer of power within the United States. This peaceful transition is a hallmark of American democracy, demonstrating the nation's commitment to stability and continuity. It is a powerful reminder that, regardless of political differences, the country remains united in its dedication to democratic principles. The focus is on the incoming president and their vision for the country. The inaugural address is a key moment where the new president outlines their goals and aspirations for the nation. It is an opportunity to inspire hope and confidence in the future, setting the tone for the administration to come. The presence or absence of a foreign leader at an inauguration is not a reflection of their relationship with the United States. Diplomatic relations are maintained through various channels and events throughout the year. The inauguration, however, remains a uniquely American tradition, focused on the nation's internal affairs and the promise of a new beginning. Donald Trump campaigned on a platform of America First. This slogan became the cornerstone of his foreign policy, resonating with many Americans who felt that the country had been too generous to its allies and too lenient with its adversaries. He promised to put American interests above all else. This meant renegotiating trade deals, demanding fairer contributions from NATO allies, and taking a tougher stance on immigration and border security. This approach had significant implications for U.S. foreign policy. It marked a shift from the traditional post-World War II international order, where the U.S. often played the role of global leader and peacekeeper. Trump was critical of multilateral agreements. He argued that deals like the Paris Climate Accord and the Iran nuclear deal were not in America's best interest, and withdrew the U.S. from these agreements. He believed they often disadvantaged the United States. Trump felt that these agreements allowed other countries to benefit at the expense of American workers and taxpayers. He also questioned the cost of U.S. military interventions abroad. Trump frequently criticized the prolonged wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, arguing that they drained American resources and lives without clear benefits. Trump's foreign policy was a departure from his predecessors. Unlike previous administrations that emphasized diplomacy and coalition building, Trump's approach was more transactional and unilateral. It was unclear how this new approach would impact U.S. relationships with its allies. While some praised his boldness and willingness to challenge the status quo, others worried that it could lead to isolation and weakened alliances. Throughout his presidency, Trump continued to emphasize his America First doctrine, making it a central theme in his speeches and policies. Whether it was trade, defense, or international agreements, his focus remained on prioritizing American interests. As his term progressed, the long-term effects of his foreign policy decisions began to unfold, leaving a lasting impact on the global stage and shaping the future of U.S. international relations. The United States and India have a complex relationship. The two countries are the world's largest democracies. They share common interests in areas like trade and security. In recent years, the U.S.-India partnership has grown stronger. Both countries see each other as important players in the Asia-Pacific region. Despite this progress, there are still challenges. Trade disputes and differing views on issues like climate change remain. Section 5. Modi's Priorities, a focus on domestic issues. In early 2017, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi was focused on domestic issues. He was implementing a series of ambitious economic reforms. These reforms were aimed at boosting India's economy and creating jobs. Modi was also focused on addressing issues like poverty and corruption. Modi's schedule was likely full with domestic priorities. Attending a foreign inauguration may not have been a top priority. Section 6. The Trump-Modi dynamic, a budding relationship. Donald Trump and Narendra Modi had not yet met in person before Trump's inauguration. However, they had spoken on the phone. Both leaders expressed a desire to strengthen US-India relations. They also shared a populist appeal and a strongman image. It remained to be seen how their personal relationship would develop. Section 7. Beyond the guest list, diplomacy on a global stage. Diplomatic relations are complex. They are not defined by a single event such as an inauguration. Countries engage with each other through a variety of channels. These include diplomatic missions, trade agreements, and cultural exchanges. The absence of a foreign leader at an inauguration does not necessarily indicate a strained relationship. Section 8. The significance of symbolic gestures in diplomacy. While inaugurations may not be the primary stage for international diplomacy, they offer opportunities for symbolic gestures. The presence of a foreign leader can signal a strong bilateral relationship. It can also be an opportunity for informal discussions on the sidelines of the event. However, these symbolic gestures are just one piece of the complex puzzle of international relations. Section 9. Conclusion: a lasting partnership. The fact that Narendra Modi did not attend Donald Trump's inauguration did not define the US-India relationship. The two countries continued to cooperate on a range of issues. They shared a commitment to democracy and a free and open Indo-Pacific region. The US-India partnership remains strong today. It is based on mutual respect and shared interests.